Well, what have we got on the table before us today, Blade Gang? Maxace. Not any Maxace, not your $100 budgety Maxace, or your, in some cases, $70 budgety Maxace. No, we've got the higher ends and we've got the larger higher ends, what I'm calling the Magnificent Muscular Maxace, or the beautiful behemoths, or the beautiful beasts, or yada, 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 whatever you want to call them. They're impressive. They are large. They're heavyweight. There's a review on each of these out on my channel. So you want to know more about any one of these, such as specifications, either check with the manufacturer or check out my review on each, and you will find out more. So I selected these 5 out of a number of Maxace knives that I have. These are probably the upper echelon, I think. Might have missed 1 or 2, but 5 is plenty for today to be able to give them a little bit of love and attention. Well, let's start in the lower left. Why? I don't know. This is the pterosaur. This is a crazy space age, spaceship, industrial looking thing. If you saw it flying through the scene like that, and it would probably be, something out of Star Wars, maybe. I don't know. But they call it the pterosaur. PT, pterosaur, Maxace. There it is, pterosaur. They're all going to be in pretty rich materials like titanium and M390 or S90V. In this case, M390. And yeah, it's a big one. I've got 1.25 inches left over. Gripping it up here. It is a Tonto style blade with a clip on top. It is beautifully ground, and it is rather straight and stick-like. Very neutral handle, except for that drop down there. And then you got the backspacer, which is sort of a shell that's been inserted in there. We've got screws all over the place. Look at that. Got crazy sort of stylized screws here holding in the glass breaker. The glass breaker is just a solid titanium piece that's sort of fluted. I mean, you got, I don't know, Art Deco meets medieval meets space age, whatever. You got some jimping there that's fairly useless. It's just smooth. Is this going to be a working knife? I don't think so. I think it's a showpiece, guys. Beautiful, smooth drop shut. No, the fuller does not stick out above the handle, so you can't use it to open the blade. Look at these fins, or whatever you want to call them here, these ports on the side. It is one seriously crazy knife. A blued anodized titanium clip. And there again is that skull crusher slash glass breaker. But the odd thing is it doesn't stick out much further than the pommel of the knife. So it doesn't protrude enough to really necessarily use it unless you're arcing down like that. We're not looking at this as a practical knife. Let's face it. It is only a thumb stud flipper, but it flies out very nicely, showing you that trough-like fuller, and again, that beautiful, beautiful grind. Enough said. We're going to leave them open and see if we can zoom out just a bit. So once they are all open, you can see them all in their glory. Corvus III, a special one with zirconium onlays. M390 blades, titanium thick, heavy handle. This thing's coming in close to maybe 9-10 ounces. Beautiful drop point blade, almost kind of like a spear. High grind, very, very wickedly sharp. Thumb studs again, and a flipper tab. So you've got your choice. Fires very well with the thumb studs. Why is this so heavy? Because zirconium, which is used to line nuclear reactors, I understand, as well as furnaces, is extremely dense and heavy. This is an anchor. You hold this in your hand and you're saying, whoa, this is like a fixed blade, like a Bowie blade, whatever. Fairly high flipper tab with, again, softer sort of jimping, but you got so much tab there, you never miss flipping it with the tab. Not quite as drop shut as some of the others, but not very pneumatic nonetheless. Beautifully big, long, like a broom style. I don't know what you call that, or like a spade style, but it follows the line and widens out of the handle. And you can see that zirconium, when it's polished like that, is a crazy fingerprint magnet. You touch it once and you got fingerprints. So kind of hard to keep it looking perfect, especially even for photographs. Again, the Corvus III, and there's been the Corvus II, and there's been many variants of the Corvus. It's a name you'll commonly see. That's a 2022 version, doing kind of like what Microtech's doing with the, the born date of birth kind of thing. Big, heavy frame lock here going on. And it is, let's see, I would definitely call it a frame lock. It's just that the frame lock is underneath the onlay, so they're just laid down on top of that, but basically underneath is your titanium frame. Backspacer, very nicely done, kind of set in there. Big knife again, about an inch or so sticking out. And you got enough here, you got enough of a swale you can stick your thumb forward. Let's see if we can get that in there. And then we'll set it up here. Let's see. The Goliath Special Edition, limited edition. Why? Because it's got the Damascus bolster. It's got carbon fiber, beautiful carbon fiber on both sides. Yes, both sides. Nice titanium clip. A hidden lanyard port there where you kind of thread it through. And stonewashed, rather plain in the Goliath series like the original, but in S90V. Yes, S90V. There you have it. CPM S90V. Don't ask me what the Rockwell is. I don't know. And I'm not super interested. This is probably the longest knife on the table, but we'll see. It is big. It is actually bigger than the Sandstorm versions. And we're going to look at the Sandstorm next, probably. But gorgeous knife as far as eye candy goes. Really, really nice. Again, the only thing that's a little on the plain Jane side is the sort of run-of-the-mill drop point blade, a very useful blade with a grind that goes right up there to the top. No flats on this one. And very fine edge. Love this one. Big knife. See if we can stand them all up in a horizontal line to give you the relative sizes. As I said, let's get into the latest Sandstorm. Sandstorm, they call it the 2.0, not the V2, but the 2.0, because I believe there is a V2. There's a lot of versions of this knife, including the original, including the K versions and K110. This one's an M390, pretty sure. Although, yeah, there it is. See, they hit it. It's on the tang. Look at the incredible complex grind on that. You got a hollow grind in here. You've got, I believe, a flat grind here. And you've got a swedge And altogether, they make the flat look like a blade in and of itself. Look at that. Look at the shape of that flat. And you've got this trough, sort of, should we even call it a fuller? I gotta use two hands. Very strong frame lock on this, and hardened steel insert. And it has the craziness of a little post that comes. I didn't put it out on the table. I did this in the review though. Goes through there and screws in. On top of that, if you didn't want to go to that trouble, you've got this rotary lock here. Well, if I can get it going the right direction, there it goes. So roll it clockwise, and that blocks the frame lock from disengaging. Can't move it to the side. Roll it back, and now you can close it. I've got to roll it back a little more. I think so. Yeah, I didn't go all the way. There it goes. Not too many worries about this knife closing, even if you didn't use either of those two locking methods. But once you do, this thing is a fixed blade. Period. End of story. I don't know why you need both. I think it's supposed to be overkill on purpose, maybe. I don't know. And finally, my fifth magnificent monster here is the Duke. This is a massive sized balisong, and it's not your daddy's flipper, shall we say. And here's another one I need two hands, because this latch, you have to exert a lot. It's unlike some of the others. It is on a spring, but your lighter weight balisongs, you just give it a squeeze and it pops off. You cannot squeeze this hard enough. I mean, maybe you can. You got to get a death grip on it. And it could just be a wearing in sort of a thing. As a curious note, this is no longer available on the Maxace website where I bought it. This one came from Maxace. This one from White Mountain. This one from White Mountain. This one from, I think, White Mountain, and this one from White Mountain. So I do have some autos and other knives that came directly from Maxace. And if you do that, be patient. You'll get it. It takes about 3 weeks for it to come through the slow boat. But look at this Tonto on this Duke. The blade is, if you go right to there, about a 4 1/4 inch blade. Balisongs are noted, many of them, for having long blades, but this one's just massively thick. And handles, titanium, beautiful carbon fiber, kind of a marbled carbon fiber. Interestingly, these carbon fiber inserts are flush. These are raised. Why they did that, I do not know. It's the same on both sides. You can feel a rounded edge there, nicely chamfered, so that it's not going to pick up on anything and pull out, hopefully. It's set up a little differently than many balisongs, in that this rests on that back spacer. I guess we'll call these back spacers, that are a darker gray titanium. See? So rather than having a Zen pin or having a blade pin, you have that way of locking up. And that may have something to do with the difficulty in disengaging the latch. I'm not going to worry about it, so I don't carry it, even though it's got a pocket clip. But let's lay them all out for relative size and see if we can get them all in the frame. They are that large. So there's the pterosaur on the bottom. There's the Sandstorm 2.0. There's the Duke. There's the Goliath special edition. You can see how that's sticking out a little further, even though it's kind of up there in the frame now. We're dealing with perspective, so it's going to look smaller. So I don't know if I can really give you the relevance there, but this, from straight above, this tip comes down to there, right? And if we line them all up correctly as much as possible. That's the shortest one, believe it or not, the pterosaur, which is still a very large size knife. The sandstorm, I'm just going to do this. Sandstorm and the Goliath are the two largest, but you know what? They're dead on. They're dead on. So this Sandstorm 2.0 is just as long overall as the Goliath Special Edition. Calling it a Goliath Special Edition, I think it was it was one run. I don't think they're going to do it in this particular form. Once again, they've done a lot of different forms of the Goliath. They've done a Bowie. They've done the Plain Jane K110s. If you go over to Lamnia in Finland, you can get those knives pretty quickly, a couple of days to the US. They have various versions of this, or did have this in a lot of different steels and configurations, but none as fancy as this one. Well, there you go. Let me know what you think. Just having some fun today, but we're up there in the time, so hope you didn't have to skip too much. Be well, take care, and I'll try to leave you some links if we've still got availability on these. Mainly, this is kind of a collection vid. Be well, take care.